Illinois enters the next phase of vaccinations. Phase 1B includes those 65 and older, as well as frontline essential workers such as teachers, first responders, and grocery workers. But Governor Pritzker warns you can't expect to get the shot as soon as maybe you would like. He blames the previous administration for hampering vaccine efforts.
To put it in perspective, we're expecting approximately 126,000 first doses to arrive next week outside of the city of Chicago. That's less than 4% of the 1B population. Until the vaccine supply improves, we will all, frankly, need to be patient.
As more vaccines do start rolling out in the Metro East, restrictions are rolling back. Region 4, which includes St. Clair and Madison counties, will move into the next phase of recovery. That allows for casinos and sports facilities to reopen. News 4's Jenna Ray talked to business owners who are impacted by this change. She's joining us live now. Jenna, these owners have to be excited.
That's right, Lauren. These business owners who I talked to today are literally thrilled to hear this news and start this reopening process. This casino behind me is just one of the several businesses here in the Metro East that is looking forward to reopening soon.
Since we really couldn't open, unfortunately we had to lay off all of our employees.
Dale Strom, general manager of Bel Air Bowling in Belleville, says after being closed for months, step one is getting employees back in the door. Earlier this week, Strom says he saw the metrics decreasing and started planning to reopen.
We've come in and started doing some more cleaning stuff and sanitizing and making sure that everything is ready to go.
Bowling alleys, other sporting venues and casinos are now getting the green light.
The most exciting part is to be able to reach back out to our team members and say, hey, we are opening again. We're excited for you to get back in here and get back to work. And the other part is being able to see our guests.
Steve Pete, general manager at the Argosy in Alton, says they too have been preparing this week to reopen. Opening at limited capacity could present challenges. However, Pete says they're choosing to work through them.
We've redone our slot floor. We've moved table games. We've added plexiglass. We find ways, both from communications and listening to our guests and our team members, to just continue to find ways to make it better.
Fitness centers and other recreation sites are open now. Gaming sites are opening tomorrow. We have a full list of everything that's reopening in the Metro East going into Tier 2 on our KMOV News app now. Reporting to you live in East St. Louis, Jenna Ray, News 4.
Thank you. News 4 is tracking the decreasing 7-day positivity rate across the bi-state. Right now, as you see, Missouri sits at 11.7%. In Illinois, that number is at 5%. President Biden is working to build support for his COVID relief package. The administration will meet with a group of senators this weekend, hoping to hammer out a bipartisan agreement. Republicans are showing resistance to the $1.9 trillion price tag.
Not going to get Republican votes for something in that price range. There are some things in there I think we have some folks who'd be willing to support, but a lot of what's in there are things that we've done in our bill that we've already passed.
Also today, President Biden signed 2 executive orders to bring some economic relief. One lays the groundwork for a higher minimum wage for federal workers. The other increases benefits for those with food insecurity.
Soon the clock will start on former President Donald Trump's Senate impeachment trial. Last week, the House cast a bipartisan vote to impeach Trump for a second time, charging him with incitement of insurrection in connection to the January 6th Capitol assault. 5 people died as a result of the riot, including 1 Capitol police officer. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced she will send the article of impeachment against former President Donald Trump to the Senate on Monday.
A trial will be held in the United States Senate, and there will be a vote on whether to convict the president.
That timing strikes a blow to now Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's proposal of delaying the start of the trial until next month in order to give the former president time to mount his defense.
The sequel cannot be an insufficient Senate process that denies former President Trump his due process.
This week, Mr. Trump's GOP Senate allies announced he has hired South Carolina lawyer Butch Bowers to anchor his defense. Several Republicans in the Senate have already come out against an impeachment trial for former President Trump, arguing it may be unconstitutional.
That post-presidential impeachment's never occurred in the history of the country for a reason, that it's unconstitutional.
There's nothing in the text of the Constitution that prohibits an impeachment trial under these circumstances.
Georgetown University law professor David Super is among legal scholars who argue Congress does have the authority to impeach and convict a former president.
If he is convicted on impeachment by a 2/3 vote of the Senate then can vote again to impose a lifetime disqualification.
For a conviction, at least 17 Senate Republicans would have to join the chamber's 50 Democrats. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The White House is calling on the Senate to fulfill its constitutional duty with the impeachment trial while also getting to work on the Biden administration's priorities. Several Senate Republicans have already come out against suggestions of splitting the Senate's workday between the impeachment trial and regular business.
Right now, an arson investigation is underway after a small fire at a St. Louis County Deerbergs. It happened earlier this week at the location in Des Peres. Des Peres police say they don't believe the fire was accidental. Earlier today, salvage crews, as you can see, and store employees were cleaning out the grocery store, getting rid of all the food inside the store due to the smoke and fire damage. Company officials say they hope to have the store reopened by early next week.
Hall of Famer and one-time home run king, Atlanta Braves legend Henry Louis Hank Aaron passed away this morning at the age of 86. Hammerin' Hank is widely considered one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He famously broke Babe Ruth's home run record in 1973. He finished his career with 755 home runs, an all-time record that stood for decades. Aaron remains baseball's RBI and total base leader. He was easily elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1982. New at 5, he served his country during World War II.
Now, this St. Peter's veteran's story is in a book. Steve Harris introduces us.
If there was ever a man cave to be proud of, Jim Feltz has it.
That flag that flew over the Capitol, United States Capitol.
The 95-year-old World War II veteran has made it a memorial.
I joined the Navy when I was 17, and I had to have my mother sign for joining up because I was underage.
That was 1942. Jim served on a destroyer, the USS Plunkett. In Anzio, Italy, a 550-pound bomb hit the ship.
And we lost 53 men, missing and dead.
One of those men was John Gallagher.
It was one of those great stories of the war that no one had really talked about except those men who were part of it.
That's John's great-nephew, James Sullivan. He's an author who lives in Maine. He started tracking down men who were on the Plunkett, eventually talking to Jim on the phone.
I told him the name of my great uncle, and there was silence on the other end of the phone. And when he came back to me, he told me that John J. Gallagher had been a very good friend of his. And I knew in a moment that this man that I had accidentally run into was a man that a book might be built around.
So he wrote a book, Unsinkable, the stories of 5 men on the USS Plunkett, a book that sits on a shelf in Jim's man cave, a book that Jim's story is a part of.
And I think that people should know what happened, yeah.
This is an epic event of the 20th century, and they're still here among us. And it's remarkable that we still have access to them.
Jim ended our interview with this.
Then that's about all. I'm a man of few words.
But the book on his shelf speaks for him. Steve Harris, News 4.